There we go. Paging Dr. Handsome. Paging Dr. Handsome. That's what they used to call me in high school. They used to call me Dr. Handsome. Why is the dude on the same side? They called me Dr. Handsome, and I used to do house calls to give hot beef injections. Yep, those were the days. I actually had something else. I was wearing something else, but I put on the vest here, and now I look like Marty McFly because I didn't want anyone to think that it was the same day, and I was somehow cheating on my own log here. But yeah, it's another day at the Tower of Power, at the Freedom Tower. So yeah, I didn't have anything really that great. Um, the only thing I was really going to think about was artistic temperament, because I'm always like in conflict with people. I'm probably discuss some. Sometimes I repeat myself. I'm sorry if I do. Um, and about letting things go and things like that. And I know people that I work with people whose whole career is about revenge. So I love when people tell you to let things go and blah blah blah. It's just like, no, that's just not how things work. So in life, um, who are you to tell me that? Who are you to say anything? It's just like, it's amazing, how it all shapes a reality and your work and stuff like that. It's a driving force in people's lives, and especially with someone with artistic temperament. What do we do? What does an artist do? The pursuit of truth. It's finding the truth. It's always looking for the truth. And then when people are deceptive and life is a little bit as unkind, you get angry. And as everything you should, we have every right to be angry, and every right to our feelings. Don't get gaslit out there. Don't anyone minimize your experiences because they're uncomfortable with it. That's not. Your job on this planet is not to make people feel comfortable. You have to live too, and you also have to be able to get through your feelings. You have every right to. You don't have no one to tell you what to do, when to do it, in that sort of way. It's like I love it when guys are like, "Hey, why don't you just get over it, man?" And it's just like, no, I'll get over what I get over it. Not when you tell me, blah blah blah. And and it's I don't know how I'm even transitioning to this. It's like because we already forget about the personal life. We already have a business life that's completely chaotic. So we need a wide berth and we need a latitude. As an artist, I have a wide berth. I will kick down the china shop. I will, throw things. I will break chairs because that's, it's the frustration and the complete lack of loyalty and everyone being so grubby and weird and fake in a business that has obviously billions of dollars, and it just, one person makes a piece of crap, they make millions. The other person makes a piece of crap and they make nothing. And I was watching this piece on YouTube, and this guy was like, "Well, who's the worst artist who ever lived?" And he was going through this whole category of artists that people thought were bad, and he brought up Rothko, and I was just like, no, I kind of actually liked Rothko, and I liked his work with his, if you don't familiar with it, well, then you get familiar with it. I'm not going to give you the big history lesson here. However, when he was talking about Rothko, and he said no, Rothko was actually pretty good, blah blah blah. And I was on my phone, and I'm just scrolling through stuff while I'm watching. The TVs. You got YouTube on the phone. You got YouTube going on TV. You're just going through the deep diving. I was going through Wikipedia, and then I did not know that Rothko committed suicide. And I'm like, after all these years, I pretty much knew the fate of all artists, everyone that I knew and respected. I knew the list, the short list in my mind, and I didn't know he ended his life so terribly and violently. And it bothered me so much because his paintings were so peaceful, or so kind of like thoughtful, and not dark, but just kind of just had that emotive quality, and that color, and that sense of like, it's like that misty kind of like spacey look to it with the edges and stuff. That was, you were just like looking into something, and there was a genuine emotion there with the work, but I didn't know, like, oh my God. And it really hit me hard. It hit me hard. This is a guy who seemed like a happy guy. He got married. He had a daughter, and like he seemed to be, like he seemed to be well, and things in his life started to fall apart. I guess he did make money, but some people didn't like his work, called him a sham. And I'm just going through I just didn't I couldn't even read the whole thing. But eventually he had health issues, smoked too much, drank too much, overweight. Like, yeah, big surprise, an artist that drinks and smokes too much. And then, from what I read, and I can be corrected on this, that he took a bunch of barbiturates, went over to his kitchen sink, and he slashed his arms open. And I guess bled to death. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy who, like, I thought somehow he had made it. And when I think of an artist that makes it, when I think of someone who makes it in the art world, is an artist who does not kill themselves or meet a fate that's awful. And it seems like, and I think maybe I've talked about this before, and it's like I'm repeating myself when this, like, can you avoid the fate? And I'm like, I somehow in my mind just thought he did, for no reason. No, there was no like rational reason. I was like, I never thought about Rothko's death. I just thought about his work. I never really saw a biopic. Maybe there is one. And I was just like, oh, you too? I was like, oh man, how distraught I was. My favorite artist was Ray Johnson. Was one of my favorites. He was I consider him an absurdist. He was a collagist, but he's an absurdist, and I kind of do. I took a big page out of his book, and I mean, his last art piece was him committing suicide. Like, he intentionally did it, but like not like, as almost like a piece of theater, which is awful too. But at least, like, I can't justify it, but that I knew of because he had that kind of. I don't know. I seemed like I kind of bookended him with life and death pretty easily. Then Pollock, and then with a car accident, and Van Gogh Van Gogh shot himself in the stomach, which is not a good place to shoot yourself. Basquiat with the OD, Keith Haring with AIDS, Warhol because he hired a private nurse that went to grab a cigarette and wasn't paying attention, and then that wasn't so bad, I guess, but I don't know. This is a guy that also just got shot because he wasn't paying people by Valerie Solanas, because he didn't pay his actors or his muses money, so she just straight up shot him. And so he was getting, like, I think, surgery on that very injury many years later, and it's just like, wow. And it's the laundry, it's just like on and on and on. I'm just like, oh. But then I was just like, you too, Rothko? Oh, dude. So what's a shining example? Like, just an artist that lives to like 90 with a giant family, and he just kind of just falls asleep and he wakes up in heaven. I mean, it's like that's the dream, right? It's like, because everything else is this turbulent end. And then your friends or former friends and ex-girlfriends and everybody, your family, like, why are you so turbulent? Why are you so crazy? Just like, well, I'm on the path, bro. I'm on the path. How do you not know that this is like how it is? Look what happened to these guys, and these guys were the masters. These were the guys who were the greats. These are the guys that actually, most of them saw money, real money in their life, and still, the bitter end. And it's like, oh man. So please, don't question these artists. Don't be kind to your artists. Be kind to them in this life. Listen to them. If they have a grudge or feel bad about something, they carry a lot of weight in their spirit. It's not easy just to kind of be like, hey, well, whatever, I thought everything was cool. It's never cool. it's never going to be cool because you got a mind like a trap. It's like, oh, yeah, I have that. No, no. You cannot have this kind of depth of feelings, an abyss of feelings, a Grand Canyon full of feelings, and be like, oh, that's okay, broski. Let's just have a beer. I'll forget about it. No, stop it. So, yeah. Okay.